Good morning, everyone. It's Jade Simmons coming to you live from Houston. Hey, Leah. It's so awesome to see you all this morning. I am so hyped up on today's prayer. Today's prayer is the power to forgive unreasonably. And I want to talk to you about why people have misunderstood the reason we need to forgive. So come on in, swipe to the right. Let all of your friends know that we are sharing the Audacity this wonderful Tuesday morning. I love Tuesdays as well. You're probably going to not find a day that I don't love, okay? I believe they each serve a very specific purpose. Yesterday, Monday, was about momentum. Hey, Leah. Hey, Destiny. Hey, Fred. I saw you pop on here. And Tuesday, I believe, is about continuation of the focus that you began on Monday. Do not sleep on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are when you really generate traction. So I think of Mondays as about building momentum, and Tuesdays, good morning, Yvette, about really gaining traction. And so this topic of forgiveness, it is not a coincidence that we are studying these prayers on these specific days in August. I believe that God is showing each of us who are tuning in, He's showing us something very specific with each of these days. So people always tell us to forgive because it's just the right thing to do, right? It's the Christian thing to do. We shouldn't harbor unforgiveness in our hearts. But I want to tell you a really practical reason about why we need to forgive, okay? So make sure you're sharing with your friends because we all need this message about why forgiveness is so crucial. Here's the reason. Forgiveness itself is priceless. It's invaluable. What that also means is that the opposite must be true, right? That if forgiveness is priceless, then unforgiveness must be costly. Okay, so understand that forgiveness is priceless and unforgiveness is costly. When you think about our hearts and how they are made to function, God has to always make sure we have room in our hearts. You see, in order to have breakthrough, right? Amen, right? I know I'm feeling this morning, guys. In order to have breakthrough, we have to have space in our hearts for breakthrough, because you need space in your heart so God can speak to you in your heart and tell you what your next move is going to be. If you have a lot of cruddy unforgiveness stored up where? In your heart, you don't have room for breakthrough. So aside from it being the good Christian thing to do, you need to make sure that your heart has space in it so that God can live there and speak to you straight to your heart. You know, in Exodus, he talks about his relationship with Moses, and God said, I speak to Moses, because Moses was God's man. It was his dude, right? He spoke to Moses plainly. It said he spoke to Moses mouth to mouth. All right, mouth to mouth, we think of resuscitation. I want God speaking to me mouth to mouth and plainly. So I got to make room for him in my heart. And the main thing I need to do is to start by forgiving others unreasonably. Not just forgiving them in the measure of which they should be forgiven, but forgiving them unreasonably. When I get done with this prayer, I'm going to tell you about another revelation I just had this morning before I press start broadcast that I want to share with you about forgiveness. So I drew inspiration for this day 11 prayer from Colossians 3:13. It says, bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, which we know was completely unreasonable. He should not have forgiven us how he did, so we should forgive in the same radical way. And the prayer says, it's funny to reread what I've written. Some of it makes me laugh because I can understand the state of mind that I was in. So the prayer says, Jesus, 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 help me to develop a heart now that knows how to forgive, so it will come as second nature when I really won't want to let it go. Help me not waste space in my being by cluttering my inner self with grudges and plans for revenge. Don't find me spending my whole life plotting the destruction of those who've hurt my loved ones and me. I'm going to need you to help me know when to walk away and when to seek your guidance concerning even taking legal action. I'm asking you to personally heal my wounds so I won't begin to replace them with dangerously self-destructive habits. When people wrong me, let me know when it's not my fault, and make it equally clear when I've brought it on myself. Help me understand people's motives when they betray me. Teach me a lesson from it that I won't forget. Help me to see that same type of person coming my way in the future so that I can stop them dead in their tracks. Better yet, you block them from me. Block them for me. In love, don't let me allow a bad previous experience from the past to keep me from my soulmate in the future. I'm going to read that line again. In love, don't let me allow a bad previous experience from the past to keep me from my soulmate in the future. But also don't let a bad month with my mate make me give up on something worth cherishing. Still yet, teach me how to both forgive and still walk away from a bad relationship or partnership simultaneously. Help me see the difference between a perceived wrong and a real one so that I won't be carrying around unnecessary negativity towards someone who truly meant me no harm. Don't let past wrongs done to me shape my mode of operation when it comes to how warmly I treat new people I meet in personal and business relationships. Father, the hardest thing in the world for me to do is to forgive myself. Sometimes it's just easier to beat myself up instead, so I'm asking you to not allow me to pummel myself. Also, a child of God. Help me to forgive like you do, almost to the point of forgetting, but remembering just enough. Oh, I'm so glad you got the book there, Susan. Help me, but remembering just enough to keep me safely moving forward without repeating my mistakes. Lord, I know in my heart I will need you to help me with this big time. In your holy name I pray. Amen. That's a good one. We're asking God to help us learn how to forgive others unreasonably. For those of you who've had a bad connection, don't worry. I'm going to be posting, hopefully later today, all of the days so far from 1 to 11. So you'll get to see those and share them with your friends. I wanted to share with you really quickly before I sign off this other revelation I had about forgiveness. Okay, some of us have had really, really, really rough lives. I've met some amazing people recently who have gone through some things I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and they have a long list of people that they will have to have help in forgiving because they've been wronged. That's a long list that makes sense. Some of us have a long list of people we need to forgive because we are too easily offended. God's been showing me, don't waste your time getting upset and being offended. You see, forgiveness takes a lot of energy. Unforgiveness takes even more energy. But you want to be careful that your list is not so long because you get offended by everyone who looks at you wrong, everyone who you think is talking about you behind your back. Those people don't matter in the long run in terms of your progress. How you allow them to matter will determine how you progress. So be careful. When I asked you in the book to list the people you need to forgive or the people who you feel who wronged you, really take a look at that list. Are those people walking around not even knowing you have issues with them? Sometimes it's so easy for us to get offended, and sometimes we are rightfully offended. But we want to use less space in our being, less space in our inner self, less space. Brush it off. I know how they used to say, right? Really brush it off. I was just recently offended in a way where I put lots of energy and time into a project that meant the world to me. I gave of myself. I did it for less than I was worth because the cause was important to me. And I was astounded at how I was not recognized in the end. But you know, the Bible tells us not to look for recognition from man in the first place. So I didn't allow myself to get as offended as I wanted to get. And I just brushed it off. And I said, God, I know that you are going to recognize me in your time. I don't have to wait around on people who should know better to do what they should do. because we serve a God who's bigger than all of that. So do not be offended easily. Forgive unreasonably this week, and look for a posting with all of the previous days. Share this with your friends. Spread the audacity. Thank you for all of those who joined in. Hey, Berdine, I saw you just came on. I'm going to post all the days so that any of you who've missed it can watch it. And make sure you share with your friends. Let them know that on Amazon, all of the books, the formats, the ebook, the audiobook, it's all on sale all month long. So that's right, Yvette, free yourself. That's what forgiveness is about. Free yourself and freeing up space so that God can really begin the process of breakthrough in your life. Have an audacious Tuesday. Build some traction. Can't wait to see you back here tomorrow for day 12. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.